All right, welcome everyone to day two of the AI-powered personal brand series. I'm Archie Grass, your host and founder of AI Branding Academy. So yesterday, I'm just going to launch into it because we got a lot of work to do, and I really want to give you guys some fun tools to use to start increasing your personal brand. What we've kind of tried to do at the Academy is not just like teach AI because there's a lot of organizations trying to do it, and what I've found is that everybody's going to come up with their own way to use AI, and that's what makes AI so powerful is you can create your own custom system. So what we focus on here is really giving the frameworks and processes to use whatever AI tool you want in whatever manner you want, and we're just basically giving you templates to start to execute that stuff so you can get to work. Because the fact of the matter is, no matter how much you want to plan everything out and plan for the future, you have no idea what's going to happen in the future. I'm a futurist, and I spend a lot of my time thinking about what's coming. And it's so chaotic that there's just no way you can prepare for what's going to happen other than building your brand and building lots of content. Now, the brand itself is obvious, but the execution is not. Because what I found, when I was researching for building this company, and this company is coming after 20 years of experience in business development and marketing, I realized that the only thing that really matters is the consistency of your brand. And it's really difficult to do. And so what I found in my research was there's only two ways to build a very consistent, recognizable brand. And that's a ton of money. You can spend lots and lots and lots of money. You have a brand head and you have, all these parameters, and you build an entire organization to maintain the brand, which would be an Apple or a, Nike or any brand you could rattle off. They've spent millions, possibly billions of dollars building and maintaining that brand. That's what it takes. The other option is that you have money usually, plus you have a psychotic person in charge. And this is like a Richard Branson, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, somebody who's just so neurotic about the brand that they don't let anybody make any decisions. They're the ones that make the decision, and they psychotically push the vision forward, and they make sure nobody goes out of the brand, and this person's just maintaining everything themselves. Very difficult, requires a certain personality type, and most of us aren't that. Even as entrepreneurs, nobody likes to be that. It's a pain in the butt. It's combative. It's a ton of work, and it's not fun. So what ends up happening with most brands, and this includes your personal brand, is you outsource. You say, hey, I don't have time to do this. I don't know SEO. I don't know social media. I don't know blah, 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 blah. And so you outsource these tasks. And because you haven't set what your brand is in place, those people essentially have to develop the brand themselves. And so instead of you just having like, this is my brand, you have Bob you hired in social media. He made your brand, what your brand looks like on social media. Okay, Sally, I hired for email marketing. My email marketing looks like this because Sally, made my email marketing like that. And nobody agrees. And everything is what ends up happening is you end up making 50 brands. None of them are consistent. And then therefore you don't really have a brand. You just have a collection of junk. So that's where I say the third path. So path one is you have tons of money. Path two is you're kind of a psychotic leader. And path three is you utilize AI and you standardize your brand, and then you propagate the brand using AI tools and these brand parameters. So now instead of saying, okay, I hired Bob to do my social media, you say, hey, I hired Bob to do my social media, but I gave him my AI brand guide. I gave him GPTs and applications that have my branding applied. And now, yes, he gets to do his own strategy. He gets to do his own stuff, but he's constantly referencing the brand guide because he's using my AI tools. And so that's the third path, is being able to utilize AI to make sure that you aren't outsourcing the branding. You're outsourcing the tasks, but you're not outsourcing the branding. And that's what makes the AI branding system, powerful, is now you have control, now you maintain consistency, and now anybody could build a solid brand, whether you're crazy or have a ton of money or not. You could still have a solid brand. So that's what we're trying to do with the personal brand here. So the first day, we basically made your brand system. So I had you use that prompt to analyze your stats online. Now, if you didn't have a website to analyze, which I know a lot of people don't, what you could do is use that same prompt, but instead of putting the website in there, just copy and paste your whole LinkedIn page. And then just say, hey, here's what I'm about. and then just paste it in there, or paste as much data as you can about yourself, paste it in there, and it'll give you that same result where it's like, okay, based on who you are, here's your system. Then what we did was we made your brand vision. I did kind of a general, company brand vision where you're, again, making it ambitious, you're making it quantifiable, but you could make it more specific to you. And a lot of times when you're talking about personal branding, and the reason you're interested in personal branding is you want to become an authority in your market. So what you should do there is, just make sure your brand vision aligns with that. I want to be the go-to expert for email marketing in the oil and gas industry. Great. Okay, how do we do that? Okay, I want to be the headline keynote speaker in the biggest conference in the world for this industry. That's a good goal too. So when you do your brand vision, and I'll give you a link to yesterday's page at the end of the session, go ahead and do that. But today, what we're going to do is we're going to skip a few steps. If you do want to make your real brand pillars, which I showed you those 9 brand pillars yesterday, you should take the course. And the course is $7, so it's not a big investment, but it will lead you to being able to, really solidify your branding. What we're going to do today is I'm going to use a different GPT. This is kind of one of my cheat GPTs, where instead of going through the professional process, you're using like an easy, like like a quick process. It integrates all of the things that you do in the course into a single GPT, which might sound attractive, but honestly, you're not going to understand how or why it did everything, which is why I always recommend taking the course. So I'm going to give you a link to the course, and it's called the How to Build Your Brand Pillars course. It's about an hour and a half. And if you're a marketer, this is a fantastic way to start to understand, like, okay, here's why I'm doing this. And then you can start to apply that to your clients and to everybody else that you want to, have a good brand. So that's the course right there if you want to check that out. I'll put that link in the notes too if you are watching this after the fact. But what we're going to do today is a brand pillar creator that does it quickly, because I want to move on to content, setting up a LinkedIn newsletter, and starting to roll out what we call content series, because that's really how you establish yourself online. And like I said at the beginning, you can't prepare for the technologies of the future. We don't know what those are going to be. We don't know how they're going to impact business, but we can prepare a brand, and we can prepare a content database. Now, the content database, which I'll talk about a lot, is super necessary, because as AI continues to advance, pretty soon we're going to have it on all of our devices. And we're going to have it, instead of websites, what I picture is we're going to have an AI database of all your information. And that's what people are going to access. And that's the way people are going to find you, because their AI is essentially going to reach out to yours, pull the data they want in, and now they're connected. And now you're seen as an authority because your content was being used by their AI to produce whatever they want to produce. It gets complicated. But the fact of the matter is, if you don't have information, if you haven't had any ideas, if you don't have a brand system, there's no way you're going to be able to prepare for this. And you're going to compete with people like me, where I produce terabytes of content every single year. Last year, we're celebrating our 1-year anniversary for the Academy. We have over 1,000 pages on the website of individual definitions, of courses, of videos, of graphics, of all these different things. And they're all custom to the Academy, because we use our brand pillars to drive all of our content production. So that's who you're competing with. You're competing with crazy content people who have way more information than you. Now, don't be scared, because that 99.9% of businesses and business professionals don't have any content either. You can start today, and you're still going to be ahead of a lot of people. So that's really what I'm trying to teach you. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to basically do a speed run through the brand pillars, and then we're going to use the brand pillars to create basically your voice, and then I'm going to show you how to create a Claude project to manage all of your content production, so you can start spitting out articles. Now, I start with articles, and just so you know, the reason I do that is because it's the easiest content to splinter and repurpose. When you make content, okay, I made a video, hey, I made a podcast, hey, I wrote something, what you'll find is that the easiest content to put into other areas areas is going to be an article. And also, it's the best for SEO. You can say whatever you want about, oh, well, video is the most found. I need to do video. You do need to do video. But the fact of the matter is, all the video AI are doing most of the time is using a transcript to rank your content and give it to other people. So if you start with articles, you're doing the thing that it's already accessing, which means you're skipping a few steps. Plus, you could turn that into a video. You could turn that into a podcast episode. And so it's very convertible. And I'll show you how to do that stuff too. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'll share my screen here. And what you'll see me using a lot of times when I'm doing these workshops is my what I call the AI marketing department. And so the AI marketing department is a concept that we teach our partners, and it's basically a website that contains all of your data, all of your marketing components. So this is usually a gated website. I use this for demonstration purposes, but you have your branding. This is all your brand pillars. This is your brand essentials, all your style guides. You have your strategies. Okay, how do I do my performance marketing? And the reason why I made this website, and we're not going to build this. I'm just showing you what it does. The reason I made this is because when I went into companies of every size, I found zero consistency among their branding, but then among their marketing management. And so what ended up happening, even when I went to really big publicly traded companies, was I saw that they still siloed. Okay, here's our email people, here's our SMS people, here's our SEO people, here's our social people, and then social was split up into individual networks, none of them talking. And so what you have is the worst, possibility of bad consistency happening. And so what I did in those situations is I made like a really comprehensive report. It was like, I want to say 60 to 80 pages. And I basically looked at their marketing. I said, here's what your marketing is. Here's how everything's connected. And then now you can start to operate from a position of, knowledge rather than, I don't know, we need TikTok firm. Just do stuff, do TikTok, and that's really the basis of a lot of these systems is my need to clarify. Here's what you do. Anyways, so in here we have our tools, and we're going to use what I call the brand pillar creator GPT. So let me go and share that with y'all. And so what this does, again, take the course. There are individual GPTs for each one of the 9 components. It's important that you do that because this again is a cheat. It's not the professional version, it's the quick version, but everybody likes quick, at least when you start, and that's fine. Okay, so we're gonna just go in here, and again, I'm gonna pull in my what we did yesterday, which was create our brand system. So the brand system again is basically saying, hey, here's all the stuff I do. And then AI says, okay, based on what you said you do, here's the system behind what it is. And when I say brand system, what I'm saying is basically an elevator pitch for how you solve the problems with your solution. And so if you can't describe that, which if at the beginning of this, I said, okay, here's how we solve the problem of inconsistency. We set the guideline, we build tools to execute the guideline, everything's fixed. If you can't do that in a sentence or two, you don't really have a system. You have tools, and nobody cares about tools anymore. Everybody has tools. Everybody has AI. So nothing you do is special or better than an AI unless you have a system behind it. So that's what we did yesterday. So let me go ahead and pull. Oh, you know what? We did on Perplexity. And again, for a lot of these tasks and prompts, you could use Perplexity or ChatGPT or Claude. Claude actually can access the internet, but I found that Perplexity is the best when you do research. And you got yours. So again, this is the you are a brand strategist. So that's the prompt I gave you yesterday. And then I came up with the system, which would be the momentum method for scaling, which is like an SEO process campaign type thing. And that's what I do as a professional. So I'm going to go and copy that. So I'm going to come back into my brand pillar creator. I need specs for my brand. What's the name of your brand? And I'm going to say it's my personal brand or Mark D. Grass. Here is the system behind my brand. Now, we will be redoing the vision. We talked about that yesterday, and I like to cover that individually because it is super important. If you get your vision down, that could be your explanation. At AI Branding Academy, we're trying to certify 20,000 marketers and business professionals by 2027 in the art of executing AI in their brand. So that's the vision that we have. Again, ambitious, quantifiable, and interesting. So in this case, I'm just going to say, but we're going to do that again here. That's why I mentioned that. Yeah, let's build a new brand. What's the name of the brand? It's my personal brand for Mark Grass. Here's the system behind the brand. And I'm just going to paste what we did on Perplexity yesterday. And you can put as much information as you want. The way we design GPTs, and this is an example of what we call Wizard GPT, by far our most popular type of GPT that we teach. And it's useful. Well, I lost my track there because I started thinking about the question. All right, question two, what industry is your brand in? And since I gave it this information, it's already suggesting what it should do. And this is, I think, the hallmark of a good GPT. This is what's called a custom GPT, if you're not familiar, is that it's intuitive and it gives you guidance. It doesn't just give you an answer because who cares about that? Okay, marketing and advertising, SEO and digital strategy, business consulting, SaaS and technology, thought leadership, personal branding, or other. I'm just going to say business consulting. It's nice and broad, and then we'll get more specific as we go. What do you sell? And then high ticket consulting programs, SEO systems, implementation services, strategic growth coaching for agencies, business scaling frameworks and playbooks, done for you SEO operations or other. For me, I'm probably between this business scaling frameworks and playbooks and the high ticket consulting programs. I think this is a little bit more specific, so I'm going to go with that. And again, you could use these tools. If you don't currently have kind of like your top offer, you need it. You need some package system. Otherwise, you're doing custom consulting every time. It's not going to work out most of the time. It's really intensive on you. If you ever want to stop working, that's not going to do it. Okay. Question four, please provide any additional details that you currently have and don't plan to change. You could paste things like your slogan, about section, or even a link to your website. You could do this. And again, we kind of did this yesterday. It's how we came up with the brand system. You could either paste the brand system again, or you could, of course, put your website, and they'll just analyze the website and say, okay, here's some other details. I'm going to say, here's my core offer. Then I'm also going to say, here's my website for you. And again, we talked about this yesterday, but if you don't currently own your domain for your name, buy it or buy a variation of it at the very least. So if you have like, my name's John Smith, you're not going to be able to get johnsmith.com, but you might get johnjeffreysmith.com or John J. Smith. That's fine too, as long as, and this is an SEO play. So just know that it's not just about, you don't want somebody else owning your domain. You also want to establish yourself as a player online. Okay, review the following brand types and select the one that fits you best. If you're unsure, I'll recommend one based on what you've shared. Visionary brand. And basically what we did here, and this is what we did with a lot of the Academy components, is we said, hey, I want to categorize this component of marketing. So in this case, we're talking about the brand type, and we have definitions for all these. So if you want, you can look those up. You can also say like, I don't know what these are. I don't know what these are. Please provide a one sentence description for each. And again, I am teaching you some AI use here. If you don't know something, just ask it. But don't just say, tell me more. Like give it specifics. Like in this case, I don't want to read a ton of stuff. I just want like, just give me the meat of it, and I'll figure it out from there. So in this case, you have the visionary brand, inspires change and leads with bold, future-driven mission. That sounds pretty good. Community-driven brand builds loyalty through shared values and strong sense of belonging. Premium brand offers luxury, service-oriented, eco-conscious, innovative, friendly, entertainment. Oh, and just so you know, this list was created by looking at the top brands in the world and then saying, okay, based on the top brands, please categorize them by their type. And we came up with this list. Entertainment brand, reliable brand, disruptor brand, value brand, or knowledge-driven brand. For me, I'm kind of between a visionary brand and a knowledge-driven brand, where, I do like to teach people, but also I'm trying to inspire people on what's coming. So I'm just going to say mix of 1 and 12. And again, no rules, just, or if you don't like that list, ask for more. Or you could say, hey, I really like this brand. Go ahead and just base it like that. I want it to be like this. That's fine too. Okay, nice combo, very aligned with what you've shared. A fusion of visionary brand and the knowledge-driven brand positions you as a thought-leading strategist who doesn't just educate but redefines how mid-stage business scale with SEO. And here we go. And the SEO part was just from the job we did yesterday where we made the brand system. And here we go. So now you have everything. And again, this is a cheat. I just came up with the brand name, brand summary, brand vision, brand slogan, core brand values, core brand offer, brand voice, brand avatar, and customer avatar in 2 seconds. Like this is, and it's all based off my information, so it's not technically wrong. Now, what you need to do though is review this and say, okay, is this real? Now, yesterday I gave you a link to the worksheet, so make sure you fill that out. But in this case, we have our brand summary. Mark DeGrasse helps 2.5 to $10 million companies turn organic traffic into scalable growth using his proprietary SEO system, the momentum method for scaling. Brand vision to transform SEO from a marketing tactic into a strategic growth engine for mid-stage businesses scaling to 10 million and beyond. Brand slogan, scaling SEO into a boardroom level growth driver. Core brand values, predictability, precision, empowerment, operational excellence, strategic thinking. Core brand offer, a systemized SEO framework that scales traffic, protects margins, and amplifies in-house execution to drive consistent, high ROI growth for mid-stage companies. And the core brand offer, just so you know, that's the statement about what you provide. Which sounds obvious, like I know what I provide. You might, but making that clear to the audience is really what we're trying to do and really solidify not just I sell this product, but it's more like I sell this solution. So we're always going solution oriented. It's the best way to think about how you could solve problems. Okay, brand voice, confident, authoritative, insight driven, and practical with a tone that balances strategic expertise and execution ready clarity. We're going to expand on our brand voice because we do need to build that out. And I'll give you the GPT for that. But it all starts with this. So you're still in good status. Okay, brand avatar. Brand avatar, this is more for larger companies. Basically, the concept behind this is that your employees, your contractors, anybody you're working with will be able to know what your brand is just by thinking about an avatar of a person. And I like to use Tommy Boy for this because Tommy Boy's dad, I think it was Rob Callahan, everybody operated on him. Like it was like, what would he do? And so this concept is supposed to expand on that so that you don't have to hope that everybody reads your style guide. They're not going to read the style guide, but they could at least think of it. This is more for sales and customer care, but it's really for everybody. And then you have your customer avatar, growth stage B2B company founders or marketing leaders at 2.5 to $10 million firms with proven traction, ready to systemize SEO and scale sustainably. Looks pretty good. Again, we should be expanding on all this, but we don't have time. So we're doing our best. And again, this is a first draft. This took us what, 10 minutes, 15 minutes? You could do this, once a week until you really feel comfortable with it. I don't recommend doing that. Just solidify it. Honestly, nothing matters if you don't have a system except for having a system. You'll do better with a system. Even for this, like if I wanted to offer SEO services, which I don't, this would be a great way to say, okay, I've solidified it. I know who I am. Now I could go out and get some business and I'm not distracted by all these possibilities of what I could possibly sell. Good way to go. Okay, so now you've solidified your personal brand. This is it. I'm going to go ahead and I'll share this link again. This is our brand pillar workbook. So if you didn't get this yesterday, here it is. There you go. I'm going to share in the chat. Nice. Good to hear it came out perfect. I love that. And that's the thing. If you have good content and you just give it good instructions and you've really made it obvious who you are, like it'll nail it really quick. Okay, so I'm gonna go and duplicate this. And I'm gonna call this Mark DeGrasse Brand Pillars Workbook Demo. And then what you'll notice on the GPTs we make too is I usually like to give the final answer in a text table. So I can specifically do this. Voila. Done. I didn't have to copy and paste and copy and paste, copy and paste. Just copy that table and you're good to go. All right, so now we have our brand pillars. And the reason why we need our brand pillars, and again, this is what you'll find on most of the tools that we have within the Academy, is because they'll ask you that question first. What are your brand pillars? And then now you've trained the AI or boxed in the AI, we use both those terms, in order to make sure that doesn't go off the rails, that it stays consistent. That's not just another random piece of AI trash that everybody's sharing online. That's that's the problem right now is that everybody's sharing unbranded junk, and therefore it's to me it's worthless because what's going to happen soon is that once you have AI on your phone, you're not going to want, oh, hey, let me get generic trash from random person online. You are only going to go to the people that you trust. And so this is really why it's so important that you brand everything because if you don't, I could do that myself. I have AI. I have a million tools. It doesn't even cost me anything. Why would I go to you? And they go to you because you have authority, you have credibility, you have the information, and you've really thought it out, and you have a solution that any old AI can't come up with. It's your solution. All right. I'm going to hammer on that because it's really important for y'all to understand. Okay, next what we're going to do is go ahead and expand on the brand voice, just because I think it's really necessary you do that. Ideally, the easiest way to get, actually, I'm going to show you the super easy way. It's not even, yeah, it's sort of a prompt, but it's pretty simple. What I want you to do is pull up Claude. Let me go to Claude, let me start a new chat. And then what I want you to do is find your favorite piece of information that you've made. If you haven't written articles, that's fine. Maybe it's a video that you shot. Or if you're really trying to nail your brand voice and you're a business professional, what I recommend you do is put together a presentation and just hit record on your phone or on Zoom and just record yourself giving the presentation. It's not really for anybody to show, it's just for you. But then once you transcribe that, now you have an article. Actually, even better. I've actually found the most consistent, writing for me hasn't been from articles I've written. It's actually been from me transcribing a presentation I gave and then using the prompt I'm going to give you now. And actually, I think I do have a prompt that I made for this. Let me see. Here it is, instant brand voice generator, Claude AI prompts. I'm going to put that in the links right here. Okay, so what this is basically this is a different one. This can still do that, but don't use this one. I'm going to give you a different one. There it is. Now, just so you know, there's multiple ways to do everything. Like you don't have to, think that, oh, there's only one solution for this. You can make brand voice in a million different ways. This is the one I was actually looking for. Based on the attached document, create a brand voice based on the writer. I didn't define brand voice, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to expand this a little bit. Actually, let's just do it now. This is just WordPress if you're familiar with the format. Okay, so what I'm going to do is instead of just saying based on the attached document, which is going to be our article we're going to analyze, I'm going to go ahead and pull in more of the definition of what a brand voice should be. So I'm going to go to AI Brand Academy dictionary, and you could do this yourself. I mean, all this information is on the website. I'm going to say brand voice. Here it is. And so here's the actual definition for brand voice that we have in here. So I'm going to just copy all of this. Box for that to make it easier to copy. Copy, paste. All right, based on the attached document, create a brand voice based on the writer. Brand voice, I'm going to say defined below, based on the writer, a comprehensive explanation, blah, 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 blah. All right, so now I'm going to save, and now the correct prompt is on the website. Okay, let me go ahead and grab prompt one. And the reason why I use Claude for this is Claude tends to do a better job giving a consistent voice and then also writing better. It seems to be more creative. Is probably the best word for it. It just doesn't have access to the internet, so that's why we always end up using other tools. Okay, so now I'm going to pull my favorite article, and this article is one I did for Digital Marketer when I was just a consultant for them. And so it's let me see. Let's see if it pulls up with that. I'm trying to think. Oh, don't call it digital marketing. That was the name. Let's call it. It's just marketing. You stop using the word digital. And so with this one, what I did was I incorporated all the different aspects of content. So if you want to check out this article, it is a very good demonstration of like, okay, here's how you can make an optimized article. But the components of it are, again, it's long. I think it's probably like 3,000 words or so. Have lots of subcategories of information. I integrated, these are all custom graphics that I made that actually just highlight different pieces of information that are in the article itself. You can see a ton of infographics, embedded videos. I have lots of stuff in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy it all. And just so you know, when you copy information into AI, don't worry about the formatting. It's fine. So let's go and put that there and paste it and go. All right. Core characteristics: disruptive and forward thinking, provocative and bold, conversational and relatable, knowledge based authority, pragmatic optimism. Tone elements: candid and direct, occasionally irreverent, informally educational, storytelling oriented, slightly technical but accessible. Audience approach: speaking to marketing professionals in transition, collaborative tone, challenging but supportive, competitive differentiation, anti-traditional, integration focused, results oriented, contemporary case studies, blah, 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 blah. So if you don't have an article, again, just do a presentation, transcribe the presentation, use that as the basis, and then there you go. And this is pretty flattering to me. That's everything I was trying to convey. And now I have, I don't know what I call it, scalable biz. Now I have Mark DeGrasse brand voice. Now I did include a little secondary prompt in here. Where'd it go? Too many tabs. Back. Oh, I lost it. 1 second. Let's go back to AI Brand Academy. Academy. All right, now we're going to go to prompts. Again, at the bottom. Oh, I just looked at the chat. Could have had it there. Okay, then the secondary prompt: create a single sentence that embodies all elements of the previous answer. The reason why I recommend you do this is because it makes it easier. You're not always going to want to use that big long prompt or the brand voice. For more technical documents, like let's say I was writing a book, I would definitely want to use the more serious version. But sometimes you just need a little quick, like, hey, I need to write a social media post, use my brand voice. Done. So in this case, I just want like the short version of what we did. So I'm going to go back into Claude and I'm going to paste that. And I'm going to say, this is for Mark DeGrasse. There you go. Mark DeGrasse speaks with provocative authority and conversational expertise, challenging traditional marketing paradigms while pragmatically guiding professionals through evolution from integrated digital. It is talking about the content, which isn't perfect. What I want it to do, if it does do this, sometimes when you provide examples, it'll tend to reference the examples. I'm going to say this is supposed to be a generalized statement to be used for future content production. So now it got rid of it, went back to scalable biz, and this is some of the issues with AI. So I'm going to, again, this is for Mark DeGrasse's personal brand. Please provide both the short summary and the long version of the brand voice. There we go. So we got my comprehensive profile. Actually, I think it started. So this is the beginning of this would be the short version. And then we get our long spec version. So you want both. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this, come back in here, brand voice. I'm going to say short version, paste that, and then I'm going to say long or detailed version. So annoying that like AI or Google Sheets or whatever, they shift between using command or shift to do a drop line. And it's inconsistent. I hate that. Okay, go back to Claude and let's go ahead and grab all the elements and then we'll come back into here and paste. Okay, so now I have a very detailed brand voice. And again, there's multiple ways to do that. Just use the one you feel most comfortable with. But again, if you want to write good copy and good say articles, which is what I'm going to show you right now, you have to do it like this. So just make sure you do a good job because otherwise it's just not going to be very or it's not going to be very consistent is the problem. And again, that means death to our efforts of consistent branding. Okay, so now we have a very comprehensive brand voice. We have all of our core brand pillars, and we're good to go. So what I'm going to show you next is how to create your first article. And again, I'm going to teach you a couple different ways of content production, but articles are easy. And you know, again, anything you do with an article is going to be pretty solid for SEO. So that's why we start with articles. Now you might be wondering, what article should I write? And in that case, what we're going to do is use our content series GPT and find out, you know what? I don't want to get too deep into strategy yet. So we'll just do an article. And then next time, I'm going to show you the content strategy behind the article. But let's go ahead and come up with some topics really quick. So I'm going to start by just copying my brand pillars, come back into Claude. And again, you can use, you know what? Let's use Perplexity. We're going to use Perplexity and we're going to do some research on the types of articles we should write. So what I'm going to say, pretty simple prompt. Please review the following brand pillars for Mark DeGrass's personal brand. Suggest a list of 5 to 10 articles that could establish Mark as an authority in his professional space, we'll say. Come in here, paste, and go. And I'm just going to give you guys this prompt. I'll create another page for it. But in the meantime, go ahead and use that. Now I do have the pro version. It will work with the free version as well. But again, if you're planning on being an AI professional, Perplexity Pro is kind of a no-brainer. If you're wondering what I have subscriptions to Claude, ChatGPT, just Plus. I don't use the Pro for ChatGPT. $200. I'm like, oh man, so much money. And then Claude, Perplexity, ChatGPT, and Midjourney. Those are the ones that I think are the mandatory you should pay for this. All right, here we go. So we have strategic SEO frameworks, the momentum method, transforming SEO into a boardroom level growth driver. This is a good one to start with because, you know, if you're planning on promoting something, you should at least have an article about it, right? And you're saying, hey, here's the solution and here's what it solves. Not a bad idea. Excuse me, I'm allergy-tastic in Austin right now. Okay, scaling SEO for 2.5 million to $10 million companies. Some of this sounds like on the nose, right? Like this is obviously my target market. Here's who I'm talking to. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being obvious. You know, I think we try to be all subtle and sneaky in marketing a lot of the times, but a lot of times people just want to know like, hey, who are you going after? Just tell me. And then guess what? It might be companies that are like, oh my gosh, I'm a $5 million company and I've been thinking about SEO. Boom. Here's the article for me. And if it turns everybody else off, whatever. They weren't going to buy from you anyways. Okay, SEO insights and trends. Why predictability is the future of SEO. The evolution of SEO from marketing tactic to strategic growth engine. And again, these are just really obvious credibility establishment and relatability. Because if people are like, "Oh, I didn't know you do SEO. Oh, I didn't know that was your main thing." Blah blah blah. Okay, operational excellence in SEO, how to build a continuous improvement engine. That's kind of cool. Precision in programmatic SEO, why old school marketing tactics are failing mid-stage businesses. And again, you could hear that, we have the target market in here, right? Our customer avatar. That's why it keeps saying for this. And this is your niching, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Authority in marketing, how genuine connection builds scalable growth. That one it doesn't mention SEO, doesn't mention the size of the business. And so it's like, yeah, that'd probably be helpful, but this is going super broad when you could be going specific. So go specific if you have a target market. Case studies in scaling SEO, lessons from mid-stage business success stories. This is a good one too, because if you do have that the success stories, especially executing the program that you're selling, that's an easy transfer. Like, oh hey, here's how we use this to make all these companies money, and guess what? You can sign up for a free consult for this service that is perfect for you. Blah, good to go. Okay, so let's go ahead and pick one, and then we're going to go ahead and write it. I kind of like this. This is, again, pretty on the nose, still important. I do like the visionary side of it, though. So why predictability is the future of SEO, moving beyond short-term wins. I like that as a consultant if I'm trying to get ongoing clients. That says like, hey, it's not about the short term, it's about the long term. And honestly, they may have worked with a bunch of companies that gave them, oh yeah, they got me to page one of Google, but then nothing happened after that. And then so we're saying no, we go beyond that. So I like this. This again gets into the vision, component, and again, does more than just like, hey, I need a quick gig. Okay, so we have our article. We'll do why predictability is the future of SEO. So what we're going to do now is build a Claude project so we can build lots of these articles. So I'm going to go back to Claude. I'm going to go to projects. You do need to have, the plus account, whatever it is, which I recommend. If you are going to be doing this a lot, which you should be, you're going to want this. Now I'll show you what I usually use for my personal articles. I call it the Mark's Daily Newsletter and Social Plan. And so this is only powered with a couple things. It has, my brand voice, it has the general program, and it also has a link to my book. And so my book is very long, and it has all of my systems. So yeah, now this AI is trained. The only thing it doesn't have is say my pillars, which it should definitely have, and that's why I'm going to add that right now. So under projects, you're going to say new project. We're going to call this Mark DeGrasse article writer. Put demo in there because it's demo. And I'm going to say this is just basically the first of the programming for the AI. What are you trying to achieve? I want to write a series of articles that put me in the position or the authority position in the SEO space. And again, don't overthink it. If you want to, you have SEO write that part too. We're good to go. Okay, so now we have the project set up, and now we want to train the AI. So what we're going to do is add some product knowledge or project knowledge. So I'm going to say, and I like doing text because then you can just click it on it really easy. So I'm going to say add text. I'm going to say Mark DeGrasse personal brand pillars. Then I'm just going to come back to my document, copy. I'm going to paste that in there. Again, don't care about the format. It's AI. It knows what you're trying to say. Add content. There we go. Now, another thing you might want to do is say an example article. So it does have our brand voice statement, our long one in there, but the more the more repetitive you are, the more likely it is to follow it. So I'm also going to do my brand voice. So I'm going to say add text from content, Mark DeGrasse, personal brand voice. And again, even though it has it, I still want to remind it. So I'm just going to copy just the brand voice. I'm going to put that there, add content. And finally, I am going to put an example article so it knows how I write. So I'm going to say add text content, Mark G. Grass, article example. And then again, I'm going to go to here and paste and add content. And then now we got it pretty trained. Now you do have set project instructions, which is not a bad idea either. Another thing you want to do, and yeah, I'll probably do this next time, but you want to have a branded structure. Now I have an example article, so it knows how I write articles, but maybe there's better like article structure I could do that would relate better to the audience I'm trying to hit. So let's go ahead and do that too. So I'm going to go to we'll go back to that first Claude, and I'm going to say, I'm going to get my article structure. I'm going to say, please produce a standard article structure that I can use for all of my articles to make them easier to read for my target audience. And more memorable. I want the outline of the article itself in terms of introduction, or we'll say hook. I always start with hook because if you don't have a good statement at the beginning, nobody's going to read it. Hook, introduction, primary content, conclusion, CTA, etc. Spell things correctly and go. Okay, so now what we have is a template for how we write articles. Now you might say like, what's the point? The point is because you want your articles to be recognizable. Because if you don't make them like anything special about the article, even if you get the traffic, they might not remember it, and they'll be like, oh yeah, I read that somewhere, whatever. You want it to be again, we want it to destroy what's called cognitive dissonance, where people are like, I read an article from this guy before and it was written completely different. It was story form. It was lots of jokes, and that's what I liked about it. And this doesn't have any of that. So I don't even remember it. So with this, and you can do this however you want, now we have a standard article structure. So I'm going to go ahead and again, copy this, come into my knowledge, Mark DeGrasse standard article structure. And we're going to grab here, and I'm just going to copy the whole thing. And again, some of this sounds redundant. You can see tone checklist. That's fine. Don't care. The more redundant you are, the better, because sometimes AI forgets stuff. Okay, so now we have an example. We have a personal brand voice. We have a brand pillars. This AI knows all about me and how I want to write articles. So now I'm going to set my project instructions. I'm going to say this project is intended to write effective articles in the voice of Mark Grass. When writing articles, please reference all project knowledge and follow provided guidelines. And you could get more specific into it, but I gave it a lot of information already, so it should be pretty good. Okay, same instructions. And so now what I'm going to do is write my article. Now you might notice this wasn't just like write me an article. I think it's way overly simplistic when people do that, and it makes it sound cheap and forgettable. And this didn't take that long. Again, all this work I just did was within the last like 30 minutes. So 30 minutes, you can do that. And now you have a trained AI that could write infinite articles for you. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to grab my topic, and I'm going to say, please write the following article for our in the voice of Mark DeGrasse, following all guidelines provided. I'm going to paste this. Now I could just go from there. I could be done. I could say, okay, I did the work. It's going to sound like me. I'm good to go. I don't, yeah. Why would they format a paste like that? That doesn't make any sense. Sorry. There. Okay. Why predictability is the future of SEO, moving beyond short-term wins, discussing the importance of predictable growth in SEO and how businesses can achieve it through operational excellence. Now, I did give it all the info. I could give it I didn't give it the system. So if I want the article to make sure that it's in line with the system, I want to provide that. And then, so I'm just going to say that. Please ensure that the article content is in line with my primary offer seen below, but make it independent from the offer itself. Only mention the offer in the CTA part of the article. All right, again, I'm going to come back to my original perplexity, where I have the momentum method. And I'm going to copy that, copy, and paste. Okay, so now this is the most important part about writing genuine articles using AI. So the AI isn't just writing an article because it has my brand voice and the topic I want. It's also doing it based on the thing I offer and do. And that's really important because if you're just going to have AI make up all the ideas, that's not your article. That's AI's article. Like you have to agree with the ideas and you have to be able to execute the thing that you're promising to execute. That's really important too. So a lot of times when you see me write articles, the actual prompt will be like 500 words where I'm like, okay, here's the idea. Here's where I want to go. I want to include examples and blah, 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 blah. That's how I write articles. And so that's essentially what I did by giving the system information. But just know, it should be your ideas. If it's not your ideas, it's not your article. Even if either way, written by AI or not, that's still true. So make sure that it's your ideas and you believe them. Okay, why predictability is the future of SEO, moving beyond short-term wins, still chasing algorithm updates like a dog after its tail? Let me ask you something. Would SpaceX have landed that $3 billion NASA contract if the rockets only work sometimes? Now, it is referencing the example article. Don't like that. I'd probably change it. Well, one, because everybody hates Elon right now, which is an issue. But also, why would it talk about that? I want it to be more current than that because that article was written like 5 years ago. Reliability crisis. But so it's following the outline that I did. So now whenever I do these articles, it's still going to follow this outline. It's going to feel familiar, and people are going to be like, "Oh, I like this. I like the bullet points. I like how it's a step-by-step execution. I like blah 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 blah." And so now I have a set article. All right, so that's all our time for today. Hopefully you get an idea of like how it works. It's not just like, hey, write me an article. It's custom to my brand voice, custom to my offer, custom to my personal brand itself. And now I have something serious. So what we're going to do next time is we're going to take this article, and I'm not going to assume you have a website, so we're going to go ahead and use LinkedIn. But I'm going to show you how to produce a newsletter and then start publishing these. And just to give you some idea of what it could lead to, because I haven't actually checked this in a while. Let me see, what's it called? Future of content and us. That's they make it really hard to find your newsletter. Let me see if I can find it. Posts and activities. It's so dumb that they make it so difficult to find it. That's like find an article I wrote. Oh, here we go. And again, I haven't even posted on this for a while, but you can see I have 1,100 subscribers. And that was with no promo. All I did was add these articles and I got the subscribers. They just found themselves. Now, when I post an article to this newsletter, all of the people, those 1,100 people instantly see that post. And this is why posting on LinkedIn is kind of cool. You just want to make sure you have a conversion path to get those emails afterwards. So that's what we're doing next time. Thank you so much for coming. Go ahead and write an article. Finish your brand pillars. Write your first article, and see how it goes. Now, I did use the pro version of Claude, so if you don't have that, you can still follow these same prompts without it. You'll just have to load the information into the chat versus just having the projects that have it all. But if you're looking for like, I'm going to make a ton of content, I think a project that way is the best thing you can do. All right, team. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.